It looks like we are going live right now. Woohoo! Oh, Biba. Okay, so let me just make sure that the live stream is up. Okay, I'm checking if we are on Facebook. Ooh, Mark Zuckerberg likes this episode. He's letting us go live. Biba. All right. Woohoo. All right, and we are on YouTube too. And let me make sure that we are going live on Instagram now as well. Real fast. Here we go. And Enigi. All right. Let us get started. All right. Hafade todos hamzu gwena hudzo yestigi unawebu na episode Fanachu. Gwawe host Midzu. Once again, we are here with another episode of Fanachu. I am your host, Michael Luhan Bavakwa. And you will oftentimes hear me say and other people say the word deep dive. But when we say deep dive, we mean that we are diving deeply, we are talking extensively, we are speaking deeply about something, but we're talking a lot about it. For me, I'm putting my PhD to work. I'm putting that student loan debt to work. That's what I'm doing when I'm talking about a deep dive. But am I really going deep depth-wise? Am I really taking a deep analysis? You know, it's so interesting the way we use metaphors like that, especially for those of us out in the ocean, live in the Pacific Ocean on Pacific Islands. We live surrounded by this ocean. And in many ways, we live disconnected from the ocean around us, especially those of us in Guam, where we have this colonial history that has disconnected us from the ocean. And so today's episode, we have with us Amanda Dedicatoria, a deep dive into science communication. And when Amanda is going to talk to us about a deep dive, we're speaking more literally and we're speaking more scientifically. And that's what I love about that pun right there in terms of thinking about a deep dive into science communication is that Amanda is a freelance science communicator who used to work at the University of Guam. Uh, but what the main thing that Amanda will be sharing with us today, though, is as you can see from this image from this episode's flyer here today, is that Amanda traveled on the Nautilus Live last year, the southern coast of Palau, as part of the Ocean Exploration Trust, where they were mapping, exploring the biodiversity and the features on the ocean floor of southern Palau. And beyond sort of the scientific features, the the ocean features there, they were also doing some important work, which some of us might not think of when we're dealing with scientific study. They were also working with Palauan stakeholders. They were incorporating Palauan cultural knowledge and language. And so I'm very, very excited to welcome on this episode Amanda, Hafaday Amanda, to this episode of Fanatsu.
Half a day, everyone. I'm Amanda Dedicatoria. Thank you so much, Dr. Bivacqua, for having me on and getting to be able to share this space with you and the rest of our curious listeners. Thank you so much.
Oh, Sidus Masi. And so I think we have a bunch of things that we want to talk about over the course of this episode. I'm very, very excited. I spent probably a little bit too much time looking at the Nautilus Live Instagram page because there was so much cool stuff
Mhm.
on that page, and we're going to get to that soon. But I want us to first, I want you to introduce yourself. You've been actually on Fanatsu before. You were on an episode that Helen, I remember Helen did an
Mhm.
episode of Aguat, and you were Helen Young did an episode of Aguat and had you on that a few years ago. But if you don't mind, can you just give us a sense of your background and share with us you're here to talk to us about science communication. And so what brought you then, share with us your background, but also what brought you to science communication and just Because I think for a lot of people today, they don't know what exactly that might be.
Mhm. Thank you so much for that wonderful question. So a little bit of background about me. I'm Amanda Dedicatoria. I'm Filipino, born and raised on the island of Guahan, coming from the village of Mangilao. Um, growing up, I was surrounded by the ocean. Like, no matter where you were here, like there was always the water around you. And, I remember like uh riding in my brother's car after school, and he would go like down a hill, and in the how to swim. So, and I was always just curious about like what was in the water, and um just what was out there. Growing up, and I mentioned it a little bit in my bio on the Nautilus Live website, that I didn't really grow up with a lot of access to cable, but I did have a lot of National Geographic magazines. And that I was too young to read. But I had a dictionary too. So, I mean, that two wonderful resources. And I was always so curious about the world around me. I was just like, wow, tigers, cougars, raccoons, none of those things sound real coming from an islander. I was just like, and so getting to learn more about them was just so fascinating. I'm so blessed to have lived a life in which my curiosity was encouraged. And so a lot of my journey as a science communicator involved following that curiosity. Um, so when so let's see, in 2016, this all kind of really started around I guess 9 years ago right now. I was just like scrolling on the internet, and I came across this video of a googly-eyed stubby squid. It's this kind of purple squid that looked like a sock puppet, and it was a video from the Nautilus team. And if you go to that video on YouTube, it should still be there. You have all these scientists who like view this little squid, and it looks like a little toy, and they're all just awestruck by it. They're just all amazed. um they're just like, wow, it just looks like someone dropped their toy. Is this even real? What is going on here? And in that moment I was just like, wow, I thought that the field of science was super intimidating, but these are people from that world who experience it just like I do, who experience it with like so much excitement, with so much amazement. And there was nothing more that I wanted to do than to be in that room. And at the time in 2016, I was 19 years old. I had just gotten into college. I was wondering what I wanted to do as a career, and I wanted to do science communication, but I had no idea how to do that because I had no other role models. I knew of no one who did that sort of work in our community, and I was just like, how do I get there? And so I decided that maybe the next best thing, as someone who was just naturally curious and wanted to learn more about the world around them, was maybe to get into journalism. And so a few years later, I graduated with a degree in communications with a focus in mass media and journalism. Um, for a few years after that, I worked as a broadcast journalist at the Pacific News Center, covering issues on environment, on education, and through that work, I got to like connect with a lot of scientists and educators, um, to talk about the brilliant work that they were doing, concerning like our island's environment, especially our marine environment, in the ways that climate change is affecting us and our reefs. And then after that, I worked for a few years, as Dr. Bavakwa mentioned, at the University of Guam as a science communicator with the Guam National Science Foundation EPSCoR program, which um, focused on like the way that climate change like is affecting our marine ecosystems. So if like during that time, I got to interview a lot of the brilliant scientists and researchers, a lot of the student researchers at the UOG Marine Lab to talk about their work, whether it's from like diatoms, which are tiny microalgae that are responsible for every fifth breath that we take ever, like uh, to coral, to fish, to so many things. At one point, I got to touch an upside down jellyfish, and for one thing, I didn't know that jellyfish could be upside down, but there are. And it stung me so many times. And I just wanted to say that throughout every minute of that pain, I was enthusiastic. It was just amazing to be able to engage with the science in that way. And, throughout that journey, this years long journey of education, of getting that experience, I became someone who was able to go into the room that I had always dreamed of entering. So, in around 2023, late 2023, um, I I heard that Nautilus was opening their science communication fellowships.
Oh, oh, hold
And
on.
so,
Oh, hold on. No, no. Thank. Oh, oh, Amanda, hold on one second. Oh, hold. No,
yeah,
Sidus Mosse, thank you so much
of course.
for sharing your background there. I want to um let's get a little bit into some of what you shared first. First off,
Yeah.
I posted this for those of you who are tuning in. Be sure, I see some of you who are watching. Uh, I see some of you are watching. Post some comments. Um, but I wanted to share this video. I put it into the live stream, the link, but Amanda, I want to share it real quick because you were
Yes, of
mentioned.
course.
And I literally typed into, wait, hold on. I literally typed in, oh, there, yeah, there it is. Hold on, there it is. Because you said googly-eyed squid.
It's great.
So
Life changing.
I typed googly-eyed squid. It is very cute. So cute. So hold on. Let us take a minute and enjoy the
Oh,
googly-eyed squid.
Octopus?
he has
Is it?
weird
No,
eyes.
what is that? Is that a cuttlefish? Or is it a
No.
cuttlefish?
Get close. Get close.
Like the angle we are seeing it. No, no, don't change the angle, please.
Maybe
His
the legs
eyes-
are folded
maybe he's
under.
got weird
I think
eyes.
it's a cuttlefish.
It
I
might be
don't
a
know.
cuttlefish.
It's
It had
an-
weird.
It's an octopus.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like
It
the
is,
body
isn't it?
looks like a
Let me-
cephalopod.
It is totally
Well,
not
Yeah.
cuttlefish and octopus are related,
Okay, just-
so
Maybe he's got eye
Stick down
problems.
and then
Oh man, look at
yeah,
him.
he's totally a cuttlefish.
This is a different guy.
Look at all of his tentacles are
cute.
centered
It's like
on
they
the front of his face.
Like Davy
They
Jones.
Yeah,
look
he
like
doesn't look
googly eyes.
They look like they painted off.
on.
yeah.
It looks so fake.
So some other aerobic team just came before and just left it here.
It's like some little kid dropped their toy.
Trash.
Oh
He's
man.
awesome though.
He is awesome.
Ah, that's a good focus
No,
right there.
seriously,
Great
what's with
focus,
his eyes?
Justin.
It's freaking me out.
I want to see him move.
It's a
Do something.
do something.
Flash our lights. Maybe he'll change color.
He's all veiny. You can see how
Yeah.
reactive he is because of all his
I think this is
veins.
a good spot to end our watch. Just stay here until.
Just stay here.
Well, I don't know if the ship
Until
will.
the
The
next.
ship's
still moving.
The ship is still moving.
So
He's cool, Mr. Cuttlefish. I want to see him swim.
Yeah,
I
me too.
know. How can we make him
So
swim?
is it, so we're sure it's a cuttlefish?
That's
not
why you need like a horn on
Or an
Hercules so you
octopus?
can.
Oh, that is so yes. Oh, I can see why. I can see why. That would inspire or incite the imagination because that that was a very cute.
Thank you. I have it saved in my computer. Just so that I can look back on it and just be like, this is what you're meant to do. And it's to just be excited about the world and to be able to like share that with other people. So I'm very grateful for you being so generous to be able to share that experience with all of our listeners and our viewers.
Oh yes, and I for those of you who want to watch it on your own, I put the link on the live stream. So the link is there so you can watch it on YouTube and of course but I did want to before we move on to sort of you getting into this science communication fellowship with the Ocean Exploration Trust, I did want to talk a little bit more about something that from when you were sharing your biography, growing up around the ocean, seeing the ocean, this is something that I think a lot of us take for granted. Living on an island, I think so many of us are eager to leave Guam, eager to kind of leave it behind. Maybe even some people see the ocean as a barrier. It disconnects us from things, it blocks us from things, and so um, I'm glad that you saw it as something to aspire to. It inspired you. And especially because when we think about it, there's there's so many frontiers in human life, and one of them is the ocean, and this is one which Guam is right on the edge of. Guam is right on the edge of, and you are at the University of Guam, where, scientists are doing important work right on the edge of sort of this frontier, which remains largely unknown to most of us, where there's still plenty of things that can be found, plenty of things to learn. And so yeah, I wanted to ask a little bit because you started out with science communication when you were at the University of Guam, and you mentioned that it wasn't something that you had that you knew much about. There, you didn't have a lot of role models in it. And so how did you find that though? Because I think for a lot of people they don't, they because even when I was preparing for this episode, and then I would like type up science communication, a lot of times my autocorrect or Google would think I was talking about Starfleet, Star Trek, excuse me, and they thought I meant a science communications officer or something like that. And so talk to us about sort of what your experience has been like that connecting with people. Is it something that kind of do people understand kind of the role, or is it something where people haven't really understood what that type of work is supposed to be? I wonder if you want to share a little bit more about that.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for that question. So the practice of science communication is basically all about, raising awareness about science-related topics and, engaging with audiences like we are right now, that include like people from outside of the science community. Because basically science communicators are people who who just want to relay science and scientific topics in ways that are like understandable, that are engaging and accessible to, to folks like who aren't scientists. Like this could like be it could take place like in many ways, like just us here talking is one method. It could take place in like, providing guidance on policies for our legislate on our lawmakers so that they are able to like make laws that would like, help us protect and conserve the environment. This could take place in like the field of education where certain curriculums can be developed so that they are more like culturally relevant and um, are more understandable by students. Like, uh, basically, like our audiences as science communicators are your grandma, your niece, your nephew, and your friends. Like, it's everyone in the community because it takes a community to be able to, fully understand and engage with these topics.
Oh, Sidus Mossing. Well, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. And also thank you for, giving a shout out to National Geographic.
I mean, it all takes a community, right? Like, I have been so blessed with having so many supportive friends, family members, mentors. I didn't do this alone, and I don't ever want to take credit for making it seem like I did all of this alone. I had I have so many people in my community that I have to thank, and um, I never want to take that for granted because if it weren't for the people who believed in me, I never would have, and I never would have done all the things that I've done.
No,
And oh yes, go ahead.
oh yes, no. Sidzus Masi. Sidzus Masi. It's it it's good to hear this and it's good for us to talk about this, especially in a time when I think so many people access, science is under attack in many ways by people. Truth, the idea of truth is under attack in so many ways. So it's good, as a reminder that communicating science, talking about science, that people take up this role of, that as people do studies, that there is also this responsibility or this work of helping make sure that the community has access to that I think that's one of the most important things, especially when you think about how a place like the University of Guam, how great work might be happening there, but if it's published in journals or if it's presented at conferences, but then it doesn't ever make it to the community itself, science communicators can help in terms of getting it out into social media, putting it into video form so it can travel out for people, or just making sure that the ideas are accessible so that, like you said, your grandma, your cousin, so that if there's important information that people out there are doing, that they have access to it. And I think that's one of the things that I really like about the emergence of science communicators.
Of course, and thank you for all that. You're 100% right. And I also want to point out that you don't have to be a scientist. You don't have to like have a PhD to engage in science. Everyone is scientifically literate in some way. Like a lot of what kind of became the foundation of my curiosity in science was due to my grandmother because like she had a garden and I would ask her, "What are these plants?" Like, um, why do they grow this way? Or how come you're doing this to help them grow? Like, how come you aren't doing this? Um, like a lot of it was from my brother who was a fisherman. He would tell me, "Oh, this is when the tides aren't good to swim in. This is like when certain fish would come out." Like everyone is scientifically literate in some way as long as you're curious, as long as you can are as you are willing to ask like, what is this? Like, why is this happening? How can I find out more? You are engaging with science. So it's really exciting because like we can all be scientists in our own way.
Mm. No, Sidus Masi. Thank you for that. And we've got some of we definitely have some people that are commenting and already hold on one second. Let me collect these comments. This is what happens when you have too many screens open.
Take
Oh
your
yeah,
time.
we've got Josh. Oh, hey, off a day, we've got Josh here who's saying ay de hafe like see Josh. Josh says Neil deGrasse Tyson ain't got nothing on your science communication skill. See Josh.
Thank you.
And oh, and then Jesse. Ay de Jesse Sipari Jess. What's it called? Jesse who was taking note, who was loving the googly-eyed creature of the deep, was saying this looks like Godzilla from 1968.
I love that.
And then Jesse is always ready to make a Godzilla connection. Him and his boy, definitely fans of Godzilla.
Wow.
And
What an
so
honor. Thank you.
let's so let's actually transitions, ask them or comments, but let's take a moment now and let's transition into what you were getting into earlier about your fellowship with the Ocean Exploration Trust. And so I'm going to throw this up real quickly on the screen, and then if you want to go ahead and talk about it, because I know you said that you weren't aware, but yes, there was a PDN article
Oh,
about it. See, there you
wow.
go. Guam science communicator set sail in the Western Pacific Ocean. And so talk to us about how you came to, came to this opportunity where you got to travel on this scientific voyage off the coast of southern Palau.
Yeah, of course. So I learned about the Science Communication Fellowship opportunity a few years ago when I was writing a story during my time at the University of Guam as a science communicator. I was writing a story on Dr. Nicole Yamase, who was the first Micronesian scientist to ever go to the Challenger Deep, the first Micronesian ever, actually. And it was just so wonderful to get to meet her. And a person who was like who had accompanied her, her name was Jaya Roperez. She was an ocean mapper, a navigator who had sailed on Nautilus. And so when she heard that, as we were talking, that I was a science communicator, she was like, "Oh, you should, sign up for their science communication fellowship." And I was just like, "What? Is that real?" Um, and so like I found out that it was real and that like their applications open every year at the end of the year. And I was just kind of following on like when the ship was where the ship was like making their expeditions. And I finally applied in late 2023 because in 2024, they were going to explore Canada, American Samoa, um, and would end their expedition season in Palau. And I thought that it would be so amazing to get to explore this region that I call my home. And so I kind of waited for a few months until I could like get word on the acceptance. And at the time, I was actually in the Philippines, in the region of Banaue, which is known for its thousands of years old rice terraces. So I was on top of a mountain when I was able to get 1 bar of Wi-Fi signal to find out that I had gotten accepted into the program. And I mentioned mountains because I was on top of a mountain when I found out that I would be exploring undersea mountains. So it was a bit of a full circle moment for me. I was in a place where I was able to get closer to my heritage as a Filipino person and also like accept and um, just be overjoyed about this opportunity about which was a dream for 8 years at that point. And so it was just a wonderful experience. Um, And so, as part of the fellowship, I had to go undergo a training because they can't just put you on there. And so, I had to attend a training later that year around May that took place in Hawaii. And so, it was a week-long training where I got to meet the other members of my cohort, the other science communication fellows who had been selected from all across the world, from American Samoa, from the United States. There was me from Guam, of course, and it was just so wonderful to get uh to share and Palau, of course. And it was just so wonderful to share a space with all of these science communicators and these educators from around the world who were just as passionate about curiosity and learning and getting to engage their students and viewers just as much as I was.
Oh, Biba. No, wonderful. Now okay. So I want to share now I want to hear some more details about, of course, your time on the Nautilus, but first I want to just share so everyone can see it. This is the Nautilus Live Instagram page. And so where you can where they have wonderful uh images, wonderful videos, you know, lots of information about the stuff that is studied. And so, of course, the majority of our planet's surface is covered in water. Yes, definitely. Oh, beautiful picture.
Mhm.
And then, ooh, it's Sponge Sunday.
Because why not? Sponges are so cool.
This is an amazing looking sponge. This
So that's a glass sponge. It's a sponge made of glass. And I'll get into it in a little bit later, but uh, they're actually hard. Like,
Wow.
yeah, they're super fascinating because their whole structure is made of glass out of a type of silica.
Wow. That is amazing. And so
Uh,
follow them. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah.
I'll scroll through and
So if you actually scroll up, on the left, that's a balati. So if you scroll up just a little bit more, that's right there, that red thing.
this is this is a balati?
That's a
What?
balati. That's
Oh
a sea
my goodness.
cucumber. It's actually a
Wow.
swimming sea cucumber, and we saw a few of those. Yeah, so the Bellassi that we see, they just kind of chill out, they just lie down on the seafloor. Um, but the Bellassi on the deep sea, because like you never know. If they don't have enough food in a certain area, they just get up and go.
Wow. That is amazing.
Mhm.
My goodness. You just blew my mind right there.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Oh wow. And so I'll put the link for this onto the into the live stream so people can check this out, follow them. Because there's voyages, as you said, there's voyages around the world, right?
Hmm.
Exploring the ocean. And so talk to us a little bit about like what your experience was like. Uh aboard the Nautilus. You said that there's people from different areas. You were one of several fellows, but then what was it like on the on the ship?
Yeah, of course. Thank you for that question. I just wanted to get into some of the general details about the Nautilus. The Nautilus is a research vessel, and so it has a lot of different focus areas from marine biology, which is what we kind of like experienced and went through here, to archaeology, geology, ocean mapping, which uses like sort of sonar to map the ocean floor and see what's down there and what it looks like. It's a very multidisciplinary sort of operation with around like 50 people on the ship, including crew members and the exploration team, which include like the scientists, like science communicators like me, video engineers, ocean mappers, just a whole community and an ecosystem of brilliant and capable people who are out there to explore the waters of our world. Um, so getting on the Nautilus, I was like really blessed with being able to join the expedition to Palau. There were two back-to-back expeditions, NA-167 and NA-168. I was on NA-168, which took place in November. So for 2 weeks, I lived on Nautilus. I battled motion sickness. I popped Dramamine and ginger candies like Tic Tacs every hour, every day, except for the last 3 days when miraculously was cured of my seasickness, and I was like, wait, hold on, we're leaving so soon. So it was just like a really wonderful time. So basically, the way that the Nautilus works, and people have asked me if I physically went down to the bottom of the ocean to explore it, and I want to say no, I did not. Because that would be very hard and I'd be very scared. So, like with modern technology, we have robots to do that and to be able to explore the ocean safely. So the Nautilus has a two robot system. Actually, yeah, here's a picture of me in front of Hercules. Um, a lot of the videos, a lot of the pictures that you've seen earlier on the and on the YouTube were taken by Hercules. So Hercules is a robot, a remotely operated vehicle or ROV, and basically it has these like manipulating arms with these little claws. It has like a pair of shears or big scissors. It's got a net and so many, and it even has like these little bottles on the side of it that are able to take water samples. Inside Hercules is a series of boxes that are used to collect specimens that are interesting, that are on the seafloor. It has a bunch of cameras. It's connected to the ship via a cable system, and towards the top of the cable system is actually another ROV called Atalanta, which I don't have a picture of right now, but basically it's a two ROV system, and Atalanta keeps the tension on the line so that at the top near the ship, so that Hercules is able to move very freely in a very controlled manner. So it's all through a tether system, and all of the video is live streamed to the ship. We actually had Wi-Fi while we were on the ship, and so in that live stream, we were kind of like in this place called the control room, me along with a lot of the scientists, the engineers, and the mappers, and we all had these headsets, and we were able to talk to each other via the live stream and engage with our viewers and listeners from all around the world. So my job and my position as a science communication fellow was to be in the space with these brilliant and amazing people who were also capable and had different expertises. And it was to, and so my job was to kind of like engage and kind of encourage conversation so that the people who were like viewing the live streams could get to know everyone in the room and well, what was going on. So that's me. That's me with my headset. And that's the shirt that I'm wearing right now in front of the computer. So right now, we're all looking at a series of screens that are uh, showing the sea floor and what's going on there. I'm right there with Dr. Jeff Drazen, who is a deep sea fish ecologist from Hawaii. I got to ask him a lot of questions about what was going on, and that was like like a lot of fun. We got to see a lot of fish, like cusk eels. We got to see like these rat tail fish, an anglerfish. I asked him so many questions about coral, about geology, and he was like, "Please remember that I'm a fish guy." And that I can only give you so much information. But, like, as I said, science and exploration does not happen without a community. He was able to like connect with a lot of like scientists who were onshore, who were connected to each other via a chat room, and were able
Mm.
to view the stream and also like help identify and give facts about like what we were seeing, what organisms that we were seeing. These were different scientists from different fields who were just able to give us insight um, during our shifts. So yeah, it was a
Oh,
wonderful time.
no, thank you. I mean, I'm ex this is no, I love this. I think this is so important because at least from what we hear in the world in politics, for example, is that so many things are being attacked because people don't understand or don't or funding is being cut for this or that because people don't understand what it's for. They just see like in a Facebook post or in a comment that oh it goes for this and that and stuff. And so I like, I like what I see here in terms of what you're doing, in terms of what the Ocean Trust is doing, to basically say like, this is science, this is the world. Like, and that you're a part of it, and I think that's an important thing. Um, Especially nowadays where we see so many programs related to science where people feel are cheering on cutting hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars here or there, and they don't understand the impact because it's reduced to just a tweet, a tweet that says, "Oh, all of this is gone or all that is gone." And I think this is why the work of science communicators is so important to remind people that, this is the world. And and the world, it's about, things, it's about understanding things. There's all of these different things that science is unlocking. And so um thank you for that. I want to share some comments because we're getting a bunch more comments. Uh, Linda says, thank you for sharing your experience with the Nautilus. Phil says, I'm proud of you,
Oh,
Amanda. And then, oh, Ayade. And then Jesse, my party, Jess says, it's good. He says, you got this, Amanda. Me and Maget, we get seasick. That's true. We do get seasick.
mhm.
But we're glad that you got your seasickness under control, though. So
Yeah.
And then Brittany says, so proud of you. Wow, proud of you,
Oh,
Amanda. And so we have a bunch of people watching in Guam, but also in the States that are, that are excited that you're sharing this, that are sharing, you're sharing all this. We do have a question though. We have a few questions. Um, Let me just ask this one real quick.
yeah, of course.
So Josh is asking, I heard the Nautilus is coming back to Guahan in May. Is this true? And are you involved in their visit if this is true?
Um, Hmm. That's a really great question. So I do want to say that the Nautilus is actually going to be exploring the Marianas in this region for the next few years. Whether or not I'll be able to go and join them, I did apply for the Lead Science Communication Fellowship this year. I'll be getting like a notification about whether or not I was accepted, perhaps like later this week. So I'm very excited. I'll have to find out, and I'll see if I'm able to share that with you all. Thank you so much for all of the kind and words, everyone. Like it's so wonderful to hear from you, and it's so amazing, and I'm so grateful to know that we have this brilliant community that is also curious about, the waters of our world and what's out there. That's very much needed because at the start, the foundation of connection, of compassion, of all of these amazing things is curiosity, this willingness to engage with the world and the people and everyone around us, to be able to have the confidence in saying that I don't know this, and that's okay, but I'd love to figure it out. And you know, you'll never know what kind of doors and what kind of adventures you'll go on with that sort of mindset. So thank you all for being curious.
Si Biba. And so can you tell us now, I think you were starting to tell us some of the things, but can you tell us specifically then some of the interesting things that you saw or that you found during the trip, during the voyage, the expedition, the Lebuu, the two, it was the second voyage, right? To Palau. And
Um,
so
mhm.
piqued your interest that were exciting. Go ahead.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for that question. I feel like what did I not see? Like there were so many things that I had never expected or never dreamed that I could be able to witness. Um, like I saw like just a field of balati just munching on the sand and doing their own balati things. Like I said, we saw the swimming sea cucumbers, which were just otherworldly and looked like they were dancing. Um, I never thought that a balati would be able to move in that way. And just like while we're talking about sea cucumbers, I think one of the most amazing things was being able to work with like the cultural liaisons, with the native Palauan scientists and science communicators who were on the ship, who were able to kind of give us a glimpse and share about their cultures, their values, and the sea creatures that were just so important to them as a people. I on my watch, so just for reference, like while we were on the ship, it was a 24-hour operation. We had these 4-hour shifts. I was on the 8 to 12, so I was on from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. from like 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. And so so the person that was on my shift, one of the people on my shift was his name was Menzel. He was a cultural liaison representative from the Palauan government, and I was able to like talk to him about like the stories of the waters that we were looking at. I was able to talk to him about the cultural significance of balati, which is kind of like a staple in the Palauan diet, and how different balati are prepared in their cuisine. Um, he was also like a fisherman and an avid diver, and there were moments in the expedition where he was just like, "Wow, you know, I grew up swimming in these waters, and I never thought that this was." all happening below us. It was just really wonderful to kind of get his insight along with all of the other Palauan folks on the ship to just like talk about like how much they loved their home and how much of an honor and how grateful they were to be able to explore and know more about it. I think that was one of the greatest gifts um, of the expedition. Like, other than that, like I got to see a lantern shark, a baby lantern shark, which is a shark that glows. It's a bioluminescent. Um, like we got to see something called a heteropod, which is a mollusk that does not look like any other snail that I've ever seen. It looks like a ghost. I got to see like this kind of red, super vibrant, um, it was either a squid or an octopus that was just like floating through the water as if it was dancing. I got to see um there was so much interesting geology. There were these columns of basalt, which we know as what was used to build stones, these huge columns of basalt that looked like skyscrapers. They were huge. And being able to navigate those landscapes was just amazing and such a dream to do it with so many people who were just as excited.
Oh, Sidzus Mossy. You had me searching for pictures of lantern sharks. So I was I was looking it up real fast and I was trying to imagine. I mean, this is it's so exciting to think about all of these things. I was trying to imagine sort of the field of Balati that you were talking about there, and then I mean, I'm still we've got people that are chiming in that are like, "What? Balati can do that?"
Oh
And
yeah.
I think yeah, no, I think somebody here is saying, is this like Palau's new tourist attraction, Balati Lake? They've already got Jellyfish Lake. They're going to have Balati Lake now. I mean, oh man, how many ways is Palau going to beat Guam? They've got like the shark sanctuary. They've got the Jellyfish Lake. Now they're going to have Balati Lake. Oh my goodness. We got to
I
catch
think
up.
I think that Palau is just an amazing role model when it comes to conservation. Um, I think that they're doing really wonderful work. Um, I think that it was just like really wonderful to get to explore these places with them. And considering the fact that the Nautilus will be exploring our region, we have no idea what is that we could find here. And I think that's really exciting. Is to just kind of like lean into that sort of possibility. Another very exciting thing that I wanted to share is that a lot of the sea mountains that like we were exploring were unnamed and had never been explored before. Um, and I bring that up because something that's very special about the Ocean Exploration Trust and something that I really admire about their program is that they frequently engage with local stakeholders, with cultural practitioners, and local governments to make sure that their operations are, respectful and are able to help the communities that they're researching. So all of those unnamed mountains that we explored, so there were a total of, I believe there was 11 different sea mountains that were unnamed. All of those sea mountains will be named by the Palauan people. And I feel like that's so exciting in terms of like garnering a connection and a sense of pride in these places for the people of that place. And I think that it's really exciting for like what could happen with our region. So thank you so much.
Oh, Sidzus Mossy. Sidzus Mossy. And we have time now for any other questions. So this is your last chance. We've got about 10 minutes left for this episode. So this is your last chance. If you have any questions for Amanda, we've got more people that are tuning in. Oh, they're just giving you we've got shakas, we've got bibas. So you're getting emoji support. You're definitely getting
Wow.
emoji support. Oh, a Duk Duk Sanctuary.
I would love a
Biba.
Duk Duk sanctuary.
And so again, we've got all right. And so let me see here. I'm trying to see if I can. I'm going through the Nautilus page right now because we've got we have some questions. We have a few requests for pictures of stuff that you saw because you were mentioning stuff, and then I'm looking through the Nautilus page right now to see if there's any pictures of the things that you saw. So wait, the what you shared of the swimming sea cucumber, was that was in Palau? That was the time when you were on the Nautilus?
Oh, yes, that was in Palau.
Okay, so then let me show that real quickly so we can use I'll go to that. I'll share that real fast, and then if you want to point out some stuff, because I think people are eager to see some examples. And then if you also then wanted to talk about that coral that you were mentioning earlier, because that was fascinating.
Mm.
So if anything, oh yes, you were talking about this, or excuse me, the sponge.
Yeah. So, this is a glass sponge. This is an example of a type of sponge that we saw in Palau. So like glass sponges are made of glass. They're made of silica, and they're kind of like hard to touch, like almost a little crunchy. Um, like they come in like all shapes and sizes. There were glass sponges that look like baskets, and inside those basket-like sponges live two shrimp that are forever together. They're a mated pair. And so we called them while we were in the control room sponge dungeons. And I was just like, that sounds like a little dark. Wow, like they could be like sponge condos. Like that's they have like a pretty sweet deal where they are protected from the elements and they're able to chill out for the rest of their married lives. So so yeah, like there was just like a lot of wonderful things that we were able to see while on the seafloor.
Oh, that's
Um
amazing. Sponge dungeons, sponge condos. Right.
yeah,
What do
let's
we
see.
have here? Oh, surrounding Johnson Atoll. And then there's the oh.
So actually, on the expedition after mine, it also continued to be in Palau. The
Hmm.
Nautilus, for the first time in 15 years of its operation, had seen Nautiluses. So that's one in the middle right there. So that is a Nautilus that I believe is native to Palau. Nautiluses are cephalopods, so they're relatives of squid, of octopuses, and they're so wonderfully rare and so beautiful. So it
Oh.
was a huge, really monumental moment in the ship's history because for the first time, the Nautilus got to see a Nautilus. Yeah.
Oh, it is poetic. It is poetic.
Mhm.
Right. And so we have a question. Did you, so you, did you get to spend any time in Palau? In addition to being in the waters around Palau, did you get to spend any time in the Palauan Islands, or was it mainly just on the boat?
So for my time, I was mainly on the boat. There were like a couple of days in which we had liberty, where like we were able to get supplies and like just shop for a bit. But for those 2 days at the beginning of the expedition were the only days in which I was able to kind of see Palau a little bit more. I think this is probably a reason for me to kind of explore the islands of Palau. I think it'd be wonderful to know what it looks like on land because already know what it looks like at sea. So if you actually scroll just a little lower, there is
Oh,
something that I've seen that I did see on my expedition. So that is a heteropod right there on the right, that ghost-like thing. That is
mhm.
a type of mollusk that we saw in the water column. It looks like a little ghost. Um, See, at the bottom right there is its shell, which it doesn't really need. It's Yeah, so that was really wonderful to see. And then if you exit out of there, there's another fish that we saw. So right there, the one in the middle,
This one?
that is a type, yeah. So that is a type of anglerfish that is called a chaunacops. And basically it has like these really cute feet that allow it to kind of rest on the ocean floor.
Whoa,
Yeah, they're really, really cute.
boy. These are it. Wow.
So this looks like to be a highlight video of like all the wonderful things that we saw um like during the last year. That's a sea spider right there. They're pretty freaky. They actually have like a little straw for a mouth that they use to suck up fluids from their prey.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for now. We are almost out of time, and so I wanted to give you just a few minutes now, just to share any final thoughts that you have. And you can use this time, to talk about science communication. If you wanted to thank anybody, if you want to tell people to follow you somewhere, direct them to resources, anything that you would like. But yeah, what are your final thoughts for this episode?
Of course, thank you so much for having me on, and thank you to all of our listeners, all of our viewers for following your curiosity. And I hope that like you are able to learn from our conversation and enjoy our time here. It's so wonderful to have you share this space with us. Um, I'm so thankful for my community of friends, of family, of mentors, of all the people who believed in me, because for the longest time I didn't believe in myself that I could do this. As someone who has dealt with like the sort of difficulties of living on Guam and kind of dealing with this sort of scarcity mindset for a long time growing up, that I wasn't able to do all these big things when in reality, yes, of course, I was curious, I was capable, I was someone who wanted to do these things and found a way. And I feel like we should always like keep in mind that scarcity is a myth and that we are much more capable and a lot more smarter than we take ourselves for. And if we follow our curiosity, if we believe in ourselves, then we have no idea what we could achieve and what we could achieve together. So thank you so much for your time. If you're interested in getting involved with the Nautilus, applications for the Science Communication Fellowship and along with like their science internships and video engineering internships open around November of each year. You can find all that information on nautiluslive.org. And yeah, thank you so much for your time today. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out.
Hi, Day. Thank you. And Sidus Masi Tatlo Amanda, we got more comments coming in for you.
Oh,
Just
thank you.
Eddie Akfadzi says, I just stopped by to say Biba Amanda.
Oh,
And then
Eddie.
my partner Desiree says Amanda is the sweetest, such interesting and amazing
Thank you.
work. And so, it is true. And your closing thoughts there really resonated. And thank you for sharing them. I mean, I think it's an important reminder. Um, yeah, the work that you shared today, the science work, but those your closing thoughts there, especially in the world as it is right now. Um, I too, I think I take some inspiration in what you shared, and so Sidus Mase, Ginenwahulope from me too. And so para hamzo todos, ni omega parume ekungok, Sidus Mase, put in estigi i finakpo estin episode finatsu. Adios. Este ki manat li hitatlu.